Hello, in this video I'll be photographing jetties along the southeast coast of Corfu. We've been driving down the southeast coast of Corfu and there's so many little jetties all the way down this water. The coast here is very shallow, so it's probably quite easy to build them, and there's hundreds all the way down here. So what I decided to do is just a little impromptu video and just see if I can take as many of these jetties as I can. So I'm starting here with this one with a nice Greek flag on it, and it's got some beautiful whitewashed wood down here. This looks really weather washed, it's amazing. So on this one I've moved along the pier a bit and just got a simple shot in portrait just to contain this jetty and the flag. So on this one I took a couple of different exposures just to see what I think might work. So one was taken with a 10 stop big stopper and the other one without. Personally I prefer the one with the big stopper because it blurs out all the water. There's not too much to see in the sky, and it makes a very simplified image, whereas the other one captures the movement in the flag, because in the big stopper one it's a bit, I suppose it's a bit too blurred and it doesn't look real. So I've taken two shots. One of them is with the big stopper and the second one is just without. The flag in the one without looks a lot better, it's a lot clearer, and it's just waited till the wind's blowing it and then taking the photograph. Now I may be able to blend those in post, but I don't know if that'll work or not. Otherwise the blurred flag might help to give a bit more interest to the photograph. Found another pier. This one again has the lovely Greek flag on it. There was one between this one and the last one that I took, but I was just lining up the photograph and getting ready, and then a couple just walked down and sat on the end and started having a cigarette, and I haven't really got time to wait for them, so I just packed up and left. So this one's the next one along. The other one wasn't too interesting anyway really. So again I'm taking this one I think with 10 stop neutral density big stopper just to try and capture some movement. Because today is very white, there's lots of cloud, lots of white reflections off the water, and there's just no real interest in the water. I think having the big stopper is going to be the staple for this video. We've now come to Boukari, which is just a little bit further from the last jetty that I saw, which was literally there, which is also probably in Boukari. This is the next jetty. I guess you can call it a jetty. Again, I took a couple of photographs, one in portrait, one in landscape. I don't think the landscape one really worked, so because of the length of these jetties, it does really fill the frame if you do it in portrait. The one thing that did concern me though is the boat at the background's moving around because it's quite windy at the moment. So I've been using the big stopper again because the light is just flat and miserable, so I'm trying to flatten out all this water, but thankfully the boat is tethered at the front and the back, so it's not moving too much, but you get a little bit of movement. So you can see boats float, they just bob around, so that gives a little bit of a story to this photograph. We're now at the next jetty. The one that we took earlier was over there. You can see where you might be able to see that boat, and the one behind it is the one with the flag. So we found another one here which is slightly different, so I'm trying to make some different compositions of all of these jetties so they don't look exactly the same. This one's stepped up, so we've got about 2 or 3 steps on this one, and there's some really rotten wood down here. I don't know if you can see. So I've put this into landscape, put these lovely rotten panels down here, so the board's right at the front, so you've got some real good detail in there, and then just let the photo just lead your eye in with these boards up to the flag, which is probably a 30-second exposure, so again it's going to be a bit blurred, and then you've got the lovely mountains in the background. Probably just about 20-30 meters away from that last pier or jetty, which is over there, I have found my favourite Jetty. This one is so beautiful. The wood is so sun bleached and weather worn. The panels look absolutely fantastic. So what I'm going to do with this one is probably take up quite a high viewpoint and look right down and really emphasise these panels because they're so stunning. I think this will make a really nice photograph. So I'll just show you what this one looks like. Now there are some mountains in the background, but it's very hazy today, so you can't really see those. But I might use a dehaze filter in Lightroom, and that should let me see a little bit more of that there. So when using dehaze filter, it does darken the photo quite a lot. It makes it very contrasty. So I'm going to expose to the right. So I'm going to make a lot of these photographs quite bright, so to give me enough exposure control, just so I've got a lot of room for manoeuvre when using that dehaze filter, just to try and bring out at least some of those mountains in the background for a bit of background detail. I've taken two photographs now from two different compositions. One was right down, probably about as low as a tripod can go, so I'm pretty much touching these boards to really try and get some of the detail and interest in the boards themselves. And then there's a second photograph is with the tripod at full height, looking down, so you've got the full length of the Jetty in the photograph. Now both images pretty much had the same composition, had the same sort of length of Jetty in the photograph, but the only difference was just the height of the tripod. So the camera angles very high and very low, so that gave me basically a couple of different photos that are very similar but will look different. So that would show the difference in moving the camera up and down just a few feet will make all the difference in the photograph. That pier back there was really beautiful. It had so much weathering on it. It was really nice. I enjoyed that one. So impressed with it. The next pier is probably another 20-30 meters along. I'm not quite so impressed with this one, so I'm not really sure how I'm going to photograph this one. It's quite a stumpy one. So I don't know, I might just take one from the side, or again, I don't want to take too many just looking down on them, because that's quite a standard thing that I do, just because I love the boards and I love the leading lines. But I want to try something different, and because this is such a short one, it's going to be quite tricky, I think. Just to make this the same as all the other shots, I've come down and taken a vertical shot looking down here. I quite like these legs on the foreground because you can see those. So there's some lovely pebbles underneath the water. You can see into the water. So I've taken a long exposure with this little pier, this little jetty, and hopefully we'll be able to see some mountains in the background. But even though this is a similar composition to all the other ones, this does prove the saying that not all jetties are created equally. I've been reliably informed that this is the last jetty that I'll be photographing today. I've also been informed that this is going to be a boring video, and I'm taking photos of the same jetties, the same style and things like that. I've tried to make it a bit different, tried to take different shots, but other than close-ups of the actual boards and wooden nacelles and close-ups of little bits of detail and things like that, these jetties are very similar. The weather's very similar, and it is all taken in one afternoon, so they are going to look similar. So if you're still watching this, I really do appreciate that, and thank you very much. Whoa. This is a very wobbly jetty. It might get interesting in a minute. Yeah, I don't like that. That's wobbling quite a lot. So there's a whole taverna full of people watching, so I really don't want to be the one to make this collapse. So if I on the way home, if I can find 1 or 2 jetties and Lisa falls asleep, then I might get 1 or 2 others, but other than that I think that's going to be it for today. So I really do hope you have enjoyed this video and it's not too boring. If you have enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and leave me some comments. I'd really appreciate those. And finally, if you haven't already subscribed and you want to see more videos like this, a bit more varied than this one I think, then please subscribe and click that notification bell so you get notified the next time I upload a video. Thank you very much. She's asleep. One more. Lisa's asleep in the car, so I'm going to get another jetty before she wakes up. Right, here we go. Right, for this one I think I've definitely saved the bastard. For this one I think I've really saved the best to last. Now I'm trying to get some different viewpoints of all these jetties and things like that, but this one is completely different to all the others. If you use imagination, there probably was a jetty here. But I'm going to photograph it anyway. So Lisa's asleep, so I'm going to make the most of it. I think this photograph is going to be different from the others, obviously, but this one really does cry out for the 10 stopper. So what I'm going to do with this one is put on a long lens, probably around 300mm, go right up to those posts or whatever they are. They look like scaffold poles really, but I'll go right up to those posts there, just isolate an area, cut out the sky, just have the posts sticking out of the water, and with the 10 stop neutral density, what that's going to do is blur the water, and then just those posts are going to be sticking out, so this one should look quite ethereal. I have now found I suppose what the Canon EOS says is my least impressive jetty. I don't actually know what to say about this one, other than I don't think I'll bother getting my camera out. It's practical, it does its job, so that's great, but as for being photogenic, maybe not, I don't know. Move on to the next one.